The Reputation Institute ranks countries of the world based on its collective opinions of tens of thousands of people across the G8 countries. These responses then give us the countries of the world who are the most well respected. According to this institute, a country has a strong reputation if people perceive the country as having an advanced economy, appealing environment, and effective government, or admire, trust, or feel esteem towards this country. These perceptions and feelings are based on people's direct experiences, stereotypes, and the country's actions. Positive experience and stereotypes are the result of a country's performance across social, political, and economic spheres. 9 of the 10 most reputable countries are considered to be among the happiest nations in the world. 8 of the 10 have the highest social progress and lowest corruption levels worldwide, and 6 of the 10 score highest on transparency in their media ratings. So let's jump into country number 10. The Netherlands. The Dutch are known for their laid-back, chilled lifestyle. The Dutch rank as having some of the best mindsets when it comes to work-life balance. This comes to no surprise when they rank as the second happiest people on the planet. The Netherlands is big enough to be important on a political and financial level, but not too big to the point where they start poking their noses into world affairs. Although the Dutch do have a turbulent past, these days they are highly respected. The Dutch also speak some of the best English on the planet, even with it not being their official first language. This makes communication with the Dutch a lot easier, especially when English is the most widely spoken language on Earth. Number 9. Denmark. There is, of course, no perfect country, but in my opinion, Denmark is one of the countries that could ever come close to being described as perfect. It ranks incredibly high in so many quality of life statistics, such as ranking as the 3rd happiest and least corrupt nation on Earth. It is a very green and clean country that focuses on social well-being as well as environmental performance. All of this comes at a cost, however, as the Danes see some of the highest levels of taxes anywhere in the world to be able to do it. Number 8. Japan. Japan is undeniably unique in the way that it conducts itself, from its quirky TV shows to the much-loved anime, to its high levels of peace and low levels of crime. It is one of those countries that everyone would like to visit. Japan's quirkiness, attention to detail, and humble ways of living whilst being one of the most technologically advanced societies makes it one of the most well-respected and appreciated countries on the planet. Number 7. Canada. Canada is a bit like the USA, but smaller in terms of its population and less crazy. Canada often ranks as being one of, if not the most beautiful countries on Earth. Its untouched wilderness is like nowhere else on the planet. For this year's rankings of the most livable cities on Earth, Canada finds 3 of its own: Calgary, Vancouver, and Toronto. Canadians have a positive stereotype of being super polite, friendly, and welcoming. Of course, this doesn't mean that every Canadian is friendly, because every society has bad people, but generally the country has a nice relaxed vibe to it. As mentioned earlier, culturally it is very similar to the USA. It is a big English and French speaking country with large modern cities, but has 10 times less people than the United States. Number 6. Australia. Australia is quite an anomaly. It has a relatively small population and is located far away from the rest of civilization. But perhaps that is the exact reason why Australia is so well respected. And although it is a rather remote, low-populated country, it has a very strong economy and produces a range of high-quality products and services. With Australia being so big, having such great weather, amazing animals and attractions, it is a country that many people choose to either visit or emigrate to. There is a reason why it is such a popular backpacking country, as well as why so many people from the UK and other countries from around the world dream of moving there. The Australian accent is one of the most recognisable on the planet, and of course, it is a country where everyone is your mate. Number 5. New Zealand. I rarely see or hear anyone talking bad about New Zealand. New Zealand is a stunning, picturesque country that is extremely remote. It doesn't really have any enemies and chooses to stay rather neutral when it comes to global conflict. This has led to New Zealand being one of the most well-respected nations on Earth. New Zealand is kind of like the UK in terms of weather, culture and identity, yet it's a lot smaller in terms of population, younger in terms of being discovered, and of course doesn't have the guilt of the atrocities it committed throughout history. Number 4. Norway. Norway ranks as being the highest developed country in the world. Not only this, but you will find Norway ranking in the top 5 or 10 for most statistics relating to quality of life. Aside from the not so ideal weather, Norway is without shadow of doubt one of the best countries in the world to live in. Norway, according to the Human Development Index, is the most developed nation on Earth. It is quite a small country in terms of population, so you don't tend to hear much about the Norwegians. But although their population is quite small, they have a huge economy. They are one of the richest nations in the world in terms of GDP per capita. Number 3. Switzerland. Switzerland cruised through the 20th century as a neutral during both world wars. This allowed it to not only prevent itself from making enemies, but it also benefited hugely from being pretty much left untouched. It was able to use this period to build enormous wealth for its citizens. The Swiss experienced some of the highest standards of living anywhere on Earth, and find themselves being some of the richest individuals on the planet. Not only this, but Switzerland is absolutely stunning. It is by far one of the most beautiful countries not only in Europe, but the world. Switzerland is also well known across the world for its high quality goods and services. Number 2. Finland. Officially the happiest country on Earth. But I must remind you, this doesn't necessarily mean that people are walking down the street with huge smiles on their faces and never get sad, but it's more to do with the high living standards and freedom that the Finns experience, which in turn leads to a happier and healthier life. Finland sees very dark and cold winters. There is no way the population is waking up at 7 AM with a huge grin on their face in the middle of January. But anyway, Finland finds itself ranking as the second most well-respected country on the planet. Although Finland is quite small in terms of its population, it has stood its ground against Russia, which again has gained the respect of many countries around the world. And finally, number 1, Sweden. Yet another Nordic, European, Scandinavian country featuring in today's list. Whenever there is a positive list about countries of the world, you will most likely find most or all of the Nordic countries appearing. Sweden, of course, although not perfect, offers its citizens some of the highest standards of living anywhere on Earth. When it comes to the quality of life statistics, you will often find Sweden ranking in the top 5, 10, or sometimes even first. With the well-developed healthcare system and free education, Sweden has some of the best social welfare in the world. You can enjoy free education in some of the world's best universities. So there we have it, the 10 most well-respected countries on the planet. Do you agree with this list? Do you think any countries were missed out? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. It is 100% free and you can always unsubscribe at the click of a button. So thanks again for watching and we will see you very soon in our next video.